Hello again. This is Dr. Kristen Karenko again. I spoke to you earlier about one of the main drives or motivations, or as a behavior analyst, we talk about antecedent conditions that motivates people as far as what they do. And one of the main emotions that motivates is fear. Fear will prompt you to do certain things. Fear will also hold you back so that you don't move forward with certain things. I think I shared with you that I do not like needles. So I conquered my fear in order to get the COVID vaccine. And I know you can too. Now, one thing that you'll see is there's a lot of different resources and references in terms of out there, in terms of how to conquer your fears. But what I did this weekend in preparation for me going to get the shot was I really took a long look to see what the most current information was that I felt like I could use, and perhaps maybe you can too. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. The first thing you want to take into consideration, what reinforces or drives people's fears a lot of times is the fear of the unknown, right? They don't know what to expect. So it ramps up your fear and perhaps paralyzes you, prevents you from moving forward. But the nice thing about this is the quickest way you can deal with that is by talking, asking the questions that you need to ask. So I looked at this and I thought, well, this is kind of funny because I always I have a friend who says to me, you can't make everybody happy. You're not pizza. So as we talk about how we want to move forward and how that communication process needs to take place, it's critical that you are in the know. And I say you meaning the caretaker, the consumer, the self-advocate, the mom, the dad, the guardian. All of us need to be in the know as much as we possibly can. And listen more, talk less. We need to communicate. It's a two-way street. You need to listen to what is being asked and reply with good quality information. Sometimes what that might do is it may prompt you to say to the strike team, to say to whomever is giving you that vaccine or interacting with you to give you that vaccine, is I need a little more time, okay? And I know your caretakers, your doctors, your healthcare teams, your behavior analysts, your behavior assistant, your support coordinator, you got a lot of people in your corner that will advocate for you, step up for you, and ask those questions and ask for, maybe I need a little more time. Now, I realize we're going to encounter people who are agreeable to that, and perhaps we may encounter people who may not be able to accommodate all of that. I'm putting that out there because I want you to, using that prompt, to really sit and have a long conversation with your caretakers, your guardian, and your families about, well, what happens if they don't give me enough time? What can I do? Okay, so we anticipate this is what we need. In the event we can't provide it, what can we do, right? Instead of always dwelling on things that we can't do, we need to focus on what we can do. So here's one example of something that you can do. Music, magazines, tablets, books, comic relief. I have a very warped sense of humor. Some of you may know me personally, and that to me is incredibly instrumental in getting me through anything that provokes fear in me. I am a musician, I sing as well, and that is my comfort zone. That is my go-to. That is a truly, truly valued positive distraction for me. I'm also an avid reader. Maybe some of you like to read, we want to be able to avoid doing what's referred to now as doom scrolling, right? You get on social media and you scroll and you scroll and you scroll. My grandfather always told me, how does it feel to be right? If you look for the negative, you're going to find it. So flip it, flip the script. Think about the positive distractions that you can give yourself and that other people can prompt you to do. Maybe you enjoy puzzles, and video games is not necessarily a bad thing. I know that there's some that are very healthy, that are healthy distractions that a lot of folks are using in order to help reduce memory loss and cognitive fog. You'll hear that, cognitive fatigue. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. Those are some really cool positive distractions that you can use. Another step that you could do for yourself and have someone prompt you is just to sit, just to be, and do this exercise that's called applied tension. Nobody's doing it to you. You are basically responding to someone prompting you or making a statement to do the following. So just as an example, you're going to sit somewhere comfortable. So right now I'm seated in my office chair, okay? And I'm sitting back, and what I'm going to do is each muscle group, so my arms, my legs, my shoulders, my face, okay, my hands, each muscle group I'll tense. Like if I'm going to sit back and I'm going to tense my hands, 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then release. Right? And when you release, you sit back, you exhale, and you just take a few minutes and then start with the next body part. And the cool thing about this, I've seen people do it, is there's a lot of folks that'll sit around and maybe one person will cue it, right? And each person that's sitting around in a circle will do their own. And by the end, everybody ends with a smile because y'all are doing the same thing. So nobody's going to feel, oh, I don't want people looking at me type of thing. Just sit back, relax, and end with a smile. Okay, it's real short, real brief, and it's something that all of us can do. Let me see. Okay. Belly breathing techniques, square breathing techniques. Dr. Martha Mason and I did a stress management training, and I encourage you to go back and take a look at that, because some of those techniques that we've talked about in that particular presentation will help you with this. The breathing techniques is in through the nose, out through the mouth. And when we're talking about belly breathing, we're talking about down here, okay? We're talking about down here. So you're going to breathe in and feel your belly rise, okay? It's not Lamaze breathing. It's not the this kind of stuff, okay? You're going to sit back. You're going to take a deep breath in. Feel your tummy rise. Maybe hold it for maybe 2 or 3 seconds. And then breathe. Exhale. Square breathing is the same thing, except if you think about it, you are breathing in, holding it for 4 seconds, breathing out, relaxing for 4 seconds. So it's breathe in, so it kind of forms a little square, not a circle, not a triangle, square, okay? This was so cool, and I did this myself, okay? The day of, I started with the least provoking idea or the least provoking step in this whole process of conquering my fear. And what it is, if you think about it, if you have this mental picture, you see this gentleman in this picture where he's climbing up a ladder, okay? You can get there. We can all get there. So you start with the least fear-provoking idea, which could be, okay, I know I'm going to go get the COVID vaccine at such and such a time. Or somebody's going to come to my group home with the vaccine, and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about it. They'll be here in an hour. And you take a pause, you take a deep breath, and you stay there. You stay there just for a short period of time. Now, for me, it was just a couple of seconds, okay? For a lot of our folks, and for you, it may be a little bit longer. You may need to really stay there just for a couple minutes, and then you take a deep breath, you exhale, and you think, okay, that's not too bad. I can get past this. And congratulations, you completed that first rung in the ladder. Then you move up to the next step. And a lot of the literature, you might see this listed as systematic desensitization, where you climb up each ladder, you take a subjective reading where you're going to say, okay, on a scale of 1 to 5, subjective means what you would rank yourself, okay? Objective is data, hardcore data. Subjective is, what is it to me? And to me, it says, I'm at about a 1 or a 2. 1 being no stress, 5 being, this kind of stuff, okay? So once I get down to 1, and I take a deep breath, I relax, and I can go on and move up to the next rung of the ladder. And pretty soon what ends up happening is you get to that rung of the ladder, that top rung, and you conquered your climb. You can do this. We all can do this. You just got to take really, really short, brief baby steps. If you've seen the movie What About Bob, you know what baby steps is. It worked for him. It can work for us. Okay. Last but certainly not least, talk, consult with your colleagues, talk with your group home manager, talk with your staff. Again, as I stressed in an earlier training on this, the one fear, the one emotion that we need to conquer is fear. And how do we do that? We get rid of the misinformation. We substitute it with accurate, credible information. And the folks in which or with whom you live, it doesn't matter whether you live in a family home, in a group home, if you're a self-advocate, or if you live in a supported living environment, I can pretty much promise you that there's probably at least one other person that shares, maybe not entirely, but some of the emotional response and the concern that you have with regard to what you are about to discover. So I just want to go ahead and say this to you. You got this, okay? You got this. We are going to get past this together. And for those of you that are caretakers out there, families, staff members, paid natural supports, you got this, okay? We will get through this. And I have the utmost confidence and faith in all of you to be able to move forward with this. Thank you for all that you do. If you have any questions, here's the information. The actual reference is listed there of that particular article where all of these 6 steps came from. And then for additional information, feel free to reach out to our webpage because there is a ton of resource information. If you haven't been to our page lately, check it out. You'll be glad you did. So with that, this concludes the last section in the training. I hope that any of this or all of this has been helpful to all of you. Be safe, be well, and take care. Thank you so much.